We're trying to work around its communication, coordination, and I think preparation. Clearly, the preparation wasn't there. They had the intelligence, but they didn't act upon it, as Congresswoman Rosa Dolores said, who's the chair of the Appropriations Committee. They didn't act upon that intelligence. And then the coordination clearly wasn't there. There was no command and control. As I said, the rank and file didn't know what they were doing. You can't have the chief of the cabinet calling in a panic day of saying, hey, we need a lot more people. That should have been taken care of. The speed of the decision was the decision making taken out of the hands of the National Guard General Walker, which took more time to get approval from the Army and yada, yada, yada. So there's all these little these boards denied it.
Okay, it's 4 p.m. and I'll call the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners to order for our full board meeting.
Mr. Chair, I have an issue with this. There is no quorum here to call this meeting to order. This is an illegal meeting. The governor has rescinded her executive order extending the public meetings are now open for public voting. This is a voting body. She did not amend the Open Meeting Act, and therefore this meeting is illegal because I am the only one in the chamber to vote. And I think this meeting needs to be adjourned until we can assemble as a legal body.
Do we, corporate counsel, do you have a response? I have no idea.
Yeah, so under the Open Meetings Act, which has been amended by the legislature, the public body is able to meet by electronic means under certain conditions anytime up until March 30th, and then after March 30th for only specified reasons, provided that there are a requisite quorum of board members present electronically, and they, as part of the roll call, state that they are attending virtually and stating where they're from, then the meeting is lawful under the Open Meetings Act.
Thank you, Mr. Homier. Commissioner Laring, if you have issues like that in the future, I would appreciate it if you would bring them in advance rather than trying to grandstand for whatever political reasons you have. That was totally unnecessary. If this meeting was illegal, then it seemed like just common courtesy would have called for you letting us know that and what you were thinking.
You were sent an email this afternoon regarding that.
If let me interject because I don't want to guess what Commissioner Laring is referring to. There is a provision under the most recent order issued by MDHHS, which limits indoor gatherings of people and prohibits the gathering of people for indoor gatherings with certain restrictions. Those are 10 people, number 10 and under, and not more than 2 separate households. However, there's an exception to that, which applies to voting and election-related purposes, that those indoor gathering limits would not apply. The problem with that is that this is not for voting or election-related actions, and in fact, MDHHS has issued guidance on that specifically with respect to public meetings of public bodies, and has said that gatherings for that purpose are prohibited both under the January 13th order as well as the January 22nd order. and that you are permitted specifically to meet by electronic means under the Open Meetings Act.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Homier. I'll call the meeting to order. Rilstein, could you provide the invocation, please?
Let us pray. Dear God, we come to you today, giving praise to you for what you have done for us through the years. But today, Lord, we ask for a special blessing for our own chair, Commissioner Skolnick. We ask you to embrace him with a spirit of comfort. And we also ask you to guide us in our deliberations as we make decisions for the betterment of this county. This we ask in your sake forever. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Rilstein. And now we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Hughes, could you do that?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hughes. Now we'll have the clerk call the roll, and if you could please give your location.
Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Brown. I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Commissioner Brown, no answer. Commissioner Sear.
Yes, and Muskegon County.
State location and city.
I think the county is all that's required.
Okay, the agenda says state location / city.
Okay, in Twin Lake, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Here, City of Muskegon.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes.
Here, Muskegon Township, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Laring.
Here, the Muskegon County Board.
Thank you. Vice Chair Nash.
Here, City of Muskegon.
Thank you. Commissioner Pago.
City of Norton Shores, here.
Thank you. Chairman Skolnick.
Here, City of Norton Shores.
Thank you. And Commissioner Wilkins.
Here, Muskegon.
And
Okay.
did Commissioner Brown join us for the roll call?
You are muted, Mr. Brown.
Commissioner Brown for the roll call?
I can see him, Nancy.
He's here.
I think he's raising his hand. He's here. He's
He
trying
can't
to,
unmute, I think.
he's trying to unmute. There he is.
Hi, Commissioner.
Lincoln Township. Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, where's your location, Commissioner?
Lincoln Township, Muskegon. Yep.
Thank you. 9 present.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, the next item is I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Laring.
Thank you. So we're bringing forward another useless resolution. The Democrats chastised the board at the last board meeting for bringing forward useless resolutions that don't affect our county. And multiple commissioners complained that we were wasting time, not doing county business. And then we bring it right back to the board again, the following board meeting, to waste more time. We can go at this board meeting all night long if you want to. At the last board meeting, you asked the administrator to buy you pizza because the board meeting went so long over the last resolution, and we got multiple complaints prior to and after for wasting constituent time and the time of this board. We're going to do it again tonight.
Okay, Mr. Laring, you voted to table it, and now it's on the motion. Now, by tabling it, it had to come back to this board meeting. You did it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Can we make a motion to remove it from the agenda?
Second.
You know, I'm not sure. Corporate counsel, is that appropriate?
Yeah, I think to the extent that it's a motion to amend the agenda, a board member can make that motion.
Motion to amend the agenda to remove the resolution from today's agenda.
Okay,
Second.
so the motion is to remove full board motion 2021-30 that was tabled on January 12th, 2021. And does anyone have any, there's a motion that's been supported. Does anyone have any questions on what we're doing here?
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Laring, as you recall, actually, it was Mr. Brown who brought the Traverse City pandemic resolution to the committee, which was then voted down. So you're seeming to be on both sides of this issue. So I think it's fair to say, you know, this was vetted by everybody, as I understand it, and minor changes, which I think improved it, and I think we should move it forward.
I concur.
Keep it on the agenda.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Brown, did you have a comment?
No, I don't have a comment, so.
No, that was Commissioner Nash, and I said I concur.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a follow-up comment.
Okay. Go
So
ahead.
this resolution that's being passed has my signature on it. I strictly reject the idea of this resolution as going forward. I object to my signature being on it. If this resolution goes forward, it is a wrongful document. It should have never had my signature applied to it. And so I object to this resolution. We can debate this all night. I don't think anybody's buying the board pizza tonight. Secondly, on this resolution specifically condemns one act of violence when there's been multiple acts of violence across this country, from Philadelphia to Portland, from Grand Rapids, Michigan, all the way down to Dallas, Texas. And this makes no mention of these other acts of violence that have been perpetrated by groups within our own county commission. So I strictly object to this. I think it should be removed. And if we have to debate tonight, I'm going to continue on all night long. Thank you.
Commissioner Chair, Commissioner Bob, I do have a comment, if I could, please.
Yes, Susie, please.
I just noticed that actually there are no signatures on it. It just lists the Board of Commissioners. So nobody has to sign it. It just lists who the Board of Commissioners are.
So again, I object to this because my name is on it, and I reject this resolution.
I think it implicates that your name is on it. You're in agreement of it is what he's trying to express, if I'm correct in my thinking.
Well,
and I agree. This is not an issue that affects our county. We're in charge of the administration of the finances for our county, which this has nothing to do with it. Called a question to move the vote to get this off the agenda for today. Thank you.
I second that.
Is that Commissioner Laring who has seconded?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay. So there was a motion to call the question. It was seconded. So we have to vote on that. Now, if we vote on that and it passes, it means that we vote on the resolution. If it fails, we can continue to talk about it. I never got a chance to say anything.
All right, Bob, let me interrupt. There was a motion to call the question while a member had presumably had the floor. There was support for that. There is no debate on that motion, so you should vote on that motion. Okay. If that motion passes, then debate would be cut off on the motion to amend the agenda, and there will be a vote on that motion to remove the item from the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Homier. So if this motion fails. Please explain that one more time, just so.
Yeah, repeat the motion, please.
There was a motion to call the. There was a motion to call the question, which had support. If there is a vote on that motion and that motion passes, then it will cut off debate on the underlying motion to amend the agenda and remove the resolution. If that motion to call the question fails, then there can be further debate on the motion to amend the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I have another question.
Okay.
The debate is ended. We go to vote.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, we can't.
could we have for clarity what a yes vote and a no vote would mean?
One more time, Mike, please.
Sure. An affirmative vote on the motion to call the question would be a vote to cut off debate on the underlying motion to amend the agenda.
Okay, and a no vote, we can still talk about it.
Correct.
And then vote on it. We'll vote on the underlying motion eventually.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is everybody clear? Can we have a roll call, Madam Clerk, please?
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairman Sugonik.
No.
5 yes, 4 no.
Okay, so that cuts off on that motion. So Mike, do we vote on the motion then?
Yes, the underlying motion that is pending is a motion to amend the agenda to remove the agenda item 13, I believe it is.
Yes.
So a yes vote would mean to remove the item and a no vote would mean to not remove the item.
That is
that
correct.
Yes.
Okay. Is everybody clear? A yes vote on this next vote is to remove that agenda item. No is not to remove it. So, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
No.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick.
No.
4 yes, 5 no.
Okay, so that'll remain on the agenda until we get to it. Let me see here, we did, all right, the next, we still need to approve the agenda then.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda. It's been supported. And we'll have, is there anybody have any discussion on that? If not, Clerk Waters, would you please do a roll call on that?
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pagel,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Commissioner Sear,
No.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick.
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the regular and closed session minutes of January 12th, 2021.
So move.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments, anything on this?
So, Mr. Chairman, the agenda said approval of the regular and closed minutes. Are you taking them separately?
There being no objections or comments, I think we could do them both at the same time.
That
Or,
is what you
I mean,
said.
You think it'd be better to do it
Chair,
separately?
That's what the motion was.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
haven't, a correction on minutes.
Okay,
I submitted an email earlier to administration. I was not at the courthouse as described for the last meeting. I was in the city of Norton Shores. I just want to notate that correction, please.
okay.
We will make that correction.
Clerk Waters, do you think we should have two? What would be better for you since you're
In the past, we've usually taken them both. We did send out the closed session meetings today by email, giving them the instructions of reading them and not to be sharing them and voting them on in today's meeting. In the past, if we were all around in the boardroom, we would hand them out in an envelope and then pick them up. You'd vote on them at that same meeting as listed here on the agenda.
Okay, so then we'll take them both at the same time. And you've noted the correction.
I have so noted, Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
and Commissioner Pago will make that correction.
okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, the next item, we have a presentation by Kathy Moore, our Director of Public Health, about the COVID-19 pandemic. Kathy, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go through the actual virus numbers quickly. Again, we have seen a steady decline in these numbers since the second half of December. So that is good news for us because we were prepared and anticipating a possible increase due to increased socialization due to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And that did not impact our statistics at all. So we are favorably looking pretty good in Muskegon County. A second slide, please. The positivity rate as of the last date that we have is 5.8%. That is the 7-day average. I probably reported earlier, it was 5.7. The state number changes as results come in. So right now it's 5.8%. The highest since the pandemic in Muskegon County has been 24.9 on November 18th. We are, if you see that small box on the lower right, our positivity rate is actually better than the state of Michigan average, the regional average, and our two contiguous counties of Ken and Ottawa that we are so often compared to. Our new cases per million is really the apples to apples, and we are at 106 compared to, which is still favorably compared to all the other, the state, the region, and the other counties. Next slide. Mercy Health, the top chart there. Mercy Health is still in very good capacity to manage a surge at this time. 23 confirmed adults as of this morning in the hospital with COVID-19. 10 of those 23 on ICU, 7 on the vents, and 8 individuals reported to emergency room the day before with COVID-like symptoms. The chart at the bottom actually shows the bed occupancy for the regional hospitals where any of our residents may find themselves. Even though it shows Mercy Health as 100%, it's not 100% COVID. It just means that they are making really good use of their bed capacity, and people are returning to the hospital to get much needed services. It could be surgery or anything else that was probably postponed due to COVID-19 restrictions earlier. The next slide shows our death rates, and this is probably the most unfavorable statistic. We are at now, this says 281, we're now at 283 deaths, COVID-like deaths reported. And I did include in this slide the comparison with other counties. It's not a percentage, but if you look at Muskegon County numbers of 9,973 with 283 deaths, that percentage is higher than Ottawa County, for instance, with 19,736 positive cases and 294 deaths. So our number of deaths are about the same, even though the number of cases are more than double. But again, for the month of December, we've seen that number decline. The prison population, again, is not included in our community numbers, and those numbers have settled down as well. 2 positive cases recently, and I want to say only 23 active, but I'll say 23 active at this time. Next. So this slide is probably, now we're into the vaccination, and this is a lot of conversation over the vaccination. This is the state of Michigan's preliminary vaccination timeline. And I think, you know, sometimes there's a lot of advertising and publications, and it really gives people a false sense of where we are. The purple is the 1B, and we are in phase 1B at this time. We are still vaccinating individuals in phase 1A. There are still many healthcare workers who have initially may have decided not to get it, and now they've changed their minds. But there are still lots of healthcare workers that we just didn't know where they were or who they were. And so they are contacting us and they're getting vaccinated. The long-term care residents and staff, they have been scheduled, if not at least started in Muskegon County with via CVS and Walgreens. So that is a direct contract, federal contract to the pharmacies, and they are working directly with the long-term care residents and staff. I can say that they've only just begun. So we still have, unfortunately, we still have many, many residents and staff of long-term care, adult foster care, and group homes that have not yet been vaccinated. Because that supply is different and separate, you know, Mercy Health in Muskegon County and other providers, we've moved on to phase 1B. If you notice in phase 1B, the purple, the last group there, other essential frontline workers, are not scheduled to be vaccinated until May. And I think with the announcement that age 65 and older, which is group 1C, can be vaccinated, it made the other essential frontline workers feel like, well, we should have come before them. And the state adjusted the schedule. So that is where they are. We have actually vaccinated in all of these categories that shows that should have been, you know, starting vaccination in January. It's not intended, or we will not be done in January. We won't be done in February. This actually goes mostly through May. So it'll be through May before we have vaccinated the majority of the phase 1B, as well as the 65 to 74-year-olds. I'll move on there. This slide is actually just to help show our residents. So I do want to, you know, be transparent and say that we are basically chasing changes here. The changes happened so fast that we make the adjustments. So yes, we did miss a deadline, but that is not why we did not get any Moderna vaccine that week. No local health department received Moderna vaccine that week. And the reason they didn't is because they diverted those Moderna vaccines to CVS and Walgreens so that they could at least begin to vaccinate the residents and staff at long-term care facilities. I think it was a great move because that is where we're seeing the most severe cases. That's where we're seeing the deaths, and that's where it is. I don't want to downplay. We have room for improvement. And I have to thank and applaud my staff though, because we are just constantly changing. I mean, I felt like we just learned how to dribble, and then they said, now you need to dunk the ball. And it's like, dunk the ball. We just got that. So we have made adjustments. So did the state. We no longer have to make a request for vaccine. It will be allocated based on population, similar to how the federal government allocated it to the state from the very beginning. So we should be well there. Next slide. Just a little. I mean, we know our population is approximately 173,000. 17.6% of that population is over age 65. And then we have people with disability under the age of 65, an equal amount of 17.6. We do know there is a lot of challenges because, the state announced that individuals age 65 could be vaccinated before we were even aware. So what we did the next day was immediately set up a way for people to register, because we had started receiving phone calls like 14 minutes into that press conference. And we weren't prepared for that. We were just inundated with phone calls. I've had, staff has worked over 2 weekends. They stayed late. They've worked over the weekends trying to catch up and keep up with those phone calls. So yes, we set up a electronic way for people to register via computer. And just looking at the census data, only 87.6% of our residents have computer access. So we do know that we are missing still a good portion, and maybe our most vulnerable portion. So we're still working on that. We are answering the phones as much as we can. We're just getting so many calls that we're not answering every call. And then the household with broadband internet subscription, we see that that's less than 80%. So we do have 20% of our population that we really need to make additional effort to reach and to assure that they receive the vaccination. And again, this is probably our most vulnerable population. They probably need it more so than those people who have the amazing internet access.
Next Kathy, can you explain your locations as well? I think that's important to know.
I'm sorry.
Your locations, different locations. Yes.
Yes. So there are, at this time, there are numerous locations. The main one was Mercy Health on Sherman, but they are actually winding that one down. They have opened up Mercy Health, the former Hackley Hospital, which is now an urgent care center. And all of these are scheduled only. Our Health West department is actually serving as public health, an extension of public health staff, and vaccinating at the former, I think it's Child Haven on Terrace. The Hackley Community Care has offered vaccinations to first their staff and then some of their most vulnerable clients. And then Muskegon Family Care has has a couple of hundred vaccines, and they have vaccinated their staff as well as some of their most vulnerable clients. In addition to those locations, our public health team is a small team. So what we've developed is a strike team approach. Last week, they went to a senior living facility and vaccinated 100 individuals in that area. The county allowed us to test a small strike team at the Human Resources Department. And so they went to that area and vaccinated 50 essential local government workers. This Friday, we will go to MATS and vaccinate another 50 essential workers. Those will be partially MATS bus drivers, partially road commission staff, and partial municipal staff. So county administration has sent a survey to our municipal locations, and through that, through the responses of that survey, we will schedule small vaccinations every week and try to vaccinate partial county, partial municipality to just knock that schedule down. It's a lot. You know, we don't have enough vaccine for everybody, but we're still, you know, trying to chop it down. And we're not trying to do like all one phase at a time. We're trying to spread it because we have various groups in phase 1B. As we still accept and vaccinate individuals in phase 1A. If we could go to the next slide, please. So just an idea of the requests we've received to date via the website form. And even with that, we know we're still missing so many. 27,581 individuals have signed up. 2,512 of those are age 85 years and older. 7,133 are in between age 75 through 84. And then 12,076 on that list are age 65 through 74. At this time, we are vaccinating probably approximately 300 to 350 85-year-olds per week, about 150 to 200 75 to 84-year-olds, and about 150 65 to 74. And even vaccinating in the under 65 age group, because we are still vaccinating teachers, childcare workers, and essential workers that fall within that category. I put these two websites, public health, www.muskegonhealth.net, so individuals can reach that website through either of these two links. Next. We have a different form for essential businesses to tell us about their request and the number of employees they have. The municipalities again will go through county administration. This link is on Ottawa County's website. Ottawa County is sort of the designated regional, because the state recognized that employers and employees may work, or employers may have multiple locations. And so this is the place for businesses. To date for Muskegon County, we've received responses from 68 businesses, 3,993 full-time staff, they've indicated, 707 part-time essential staff, 650 seasonal, and 194 contracted essential workers. And that the link at the bottom there is the link that employers should use to indicate their issue and number of essential staff. I believe that the Employers Association, so Lisa has offered to share that with her group, and the Chamber of Commerce will also share it. But again, we realize that there are a lot of businesses out there, and we want to make sure we can they can access this as well. I think the final slide, this is doses administered. So to date, Muskegon County has received 6,900 doses, which includes 11,700 of Pfizer. And all of that is Mercy Health received, and 5,200 of Moderna. 1,000 of that has been received by Mercy Health. 2,800 by Public Health, and then 200 each, Hackley Community Care and Muskegon Family Care. Administered 13,199, and we have clinics scheduled for Friday and Saturday. So we anticipate that all of our Moderna will be used by the end of this week. And I think the final slide again was that the public health system, we're a public health department, we're a small staff, we're a small operation, and the real public health system includes all of our community partners that provide health and human services to our residents. We never would be able to manage this without these partners. And I think this partnership has put Muskegon County at an advantage, and we are making much more progress. I participate in state level meetings every day, and through this partnership, we're accomplishing much more than I even thought we could do. So just a special thank you to them. That's it.
Kathy, can I have a question, please?
Yes, please.
I really appreciate the work you've done on this presentation. It's very informative. Can we also get that sent to us so that we can keep that on our record? So if a constituent asks, we can direct and guide them.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, one more question. Do you have any more information on apparently the Department of Health and Human Services Chief Robert Gordon resigned? Do you have any information on that at all?
No, that was very sudden, and we don't know why, but that's all I know. Just Elizabeth Hertel is taking his place, and I thought she was going to be an interim, but she is actually she is appointed, so she is the new chief. We weren't sure initially, and I don't know that it's been clarified if the emergency orders by Director Gordon stands on its own. Like, does it go away because he's no longer the director, or if that was an order based on the department and not the individual. Here as health officer, if I had an order as a health officer, if I was no longer the health officer, then that order would be voided. But there's a lot of complications in state government that I don't know about, so I can't answer that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathy, I have one question for you. I understand the Pfizer vaccine, the little bottles that the doses come in were supposed to be 5, but they're actually 6. Are you giving 6 with each bottle?
So Mercy Health is giving 6 because you need a very special syringe to pull out 6. And whenever Mercy allocates the doses over to us, we are only getting 5 because the syringe that we have, you have to sort of push it up and get the air out before it's administered, and can't pull out that 6 dose.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else? If not, we'll move on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Mr. Chair, Director Moore, if I may, I have a few questions.
Sure.
Thank you for your diligence. You're amazing, and I appreciate your work in our county. I do have a question, though. I am wondering if somehow we can get some sort of report on other illnesses that we normally would maybe have reported since this pandemic. Like, where are the flu viruses? and other illnesses that usually are in a great percentage amount. And
Absolutely.
also what our, and I don't need the answers right now, but maybe next time. And also our deaths of our county monthly and for the year last year, where are those at for 2020 compared to 2019 in relative to each cause of death, whether it be illness, car accident, that's type of thing. I would like to see those kind of reports.
Okay.
And then also I'm wondering, with these vaccinations now that that are being administered, when will reports of the adverse effects and cause of deaths from those be reported? And does that come through the county, through you, or how will we have access?
So we're tracking, like at every clinic, we're trying to track adverse effects, and they have several categories. So they have mild, moderate, and severe, and we are tracking that. I don't know that we have that we know of any deaths locally. So and I don't know that I or public health would be the official reporter of that, but definitely as that information become available, I will expand this report and also include our other diseases. So I just had a staff meeting prior to this, and our epidemiologist was just mentioning, we have other diseases that's reported to us as well. So yes, great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item is, Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item is public comment on an agenda item. There are 64 people on this call.
See a couple of hands, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Tony Barnes.
Tony?
Thank you, Commissioner Skolnick, or Chairman Skolnick. I would like to first say again, from our family to yours, you have our most sincere condolences.
Thank you.
If I may, Chairman, I'm not going to, I need to make sure you guys are aware of the procedures that you are not following. This goes back 3 meetings, and I'm not going to be able to do this in 2 minutes. So I'm trying to protect the chairman of the committees and the entire commission. So I'm asking for a little more time so that I can spell this out in a way that everyone easily understands. It goes back to I think it was Board of Public Works, Chairman Pago handled that meeting. At the end, there was again a call to question, seconded, it was voted, it failed 5-4. It takes 2/3 of the voting members for that to pass. At the end of the meeting, when I tried to make that the only thing they would have to do was vote on that motion again to final. I don't remember what it was, but I got the response from Commissioner Loring that I may have stumbled upon something. With all due respect, when it comes to Robert's Rules of Order and Parliamentary Rule, I don't just accidentally stumble upon something. I've been operating under the Robert's Rules of Order since 1996. So at your January 1st meeting, where Chairman Brown was handling that meeting, at the 18-minute, 30-second mark of your YouTube video, there was a motion by Commissioner Pago, seconded by Commissioner Loring, to move the resolution to the full board. A lot of discussion ensued, and at the 41-minute mark and 38 seconds, there was a motion to call a question by Commissioner Hovey Wright, seconded by Commissioner Zach Loring, to call a question. That motion failed 5-4. Again, it takes 2/3 majority. So they passed that on, and now you're seeing it still like a motion failed. You never voted on that one. And now that affects everything you did today because you've approved minutes. You had another call to question today, and it also failed 5-4. It takes 2/3. So I apologize for going on that long. It's a little frustrating when we have somebody in the bully pulpit professing to be a subject matter expert from the Michigan Department of Health and Services, only to then can't even follow the basic policies that you guys have in place for Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know if moving public comment a little higher on the agenda so I could point that out to you earlier. But at this point, I think you need to vote on the agenda again. I think you need to vote on that motion because the call to question failed 5-4. That motion didn't pass. That's all I really, I mean, you're gonna have to figure that out. I know that your legal counsel, Mr. Homier, was not at the last meeting or the one prior. So I know we had a surrogate there last on the 21st. I haven't got the results, how you're gonna fix the meeting from the Board of Public Works. I don't even know how you fix that just yet. So,
Tony, you've got 2.5 minutes. It's up. So,
all right. So thank you. You guys are need to get, I'm gonna be, nice and point that out, but I'm gonna file a complaint next time. You're not the chairman. I'm talking to the chairman and the board. So with all due respect, I'm gonna be nice to bring
Time
this.
is up. Your time
But
is
the
up.
next time I'll have
Your
to,
time is up.
Point of order.
next
Point
time I'll
of
have no choice but to,
order.
Tony, your
Yes.
time is up. Thank you.
Next up is Judge Maria Lattice Hoops.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank, as a citizen and as an elected official, to really commend our Muskegon Public Health Director, Kathy Moore. I, like she mentioned about herself, have the opportunity to speak with other like officials around the state on a daily basis. And as she even mentioned, I think that Muskegon County is way ahead of many other counties in terms of their organization of testing and vaccinations with COVID. In addition to that, what I've learned from other judges around the state is they do not have the organized information on a weekly basis that Director Kathy Moore has graced us with. Her ability and willingness to meet with elected officials every week to determine what our numbers are and whether we should stay open, stay closed, so that we can make those decisions based on what our administration has given us. I've heard from many members of the community that she is on the floor of vaccination locations, helping organize, setting up tables, signs, whatever it may be, all the way to, of course, doing the fine points of creating these wonderful graphs and information for us. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to commend her and commend all of you for having hired her and having her as a director here for Muskegon County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Hoops. Charles, is there anybody else?
Mr. Chair, Jennifer Hodges.
Okay, Mrs. Hodges, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Chair Skolnick. I just want to make comment on Agenda 13, and I want to start by thanking the commissioners for listening to my public comment so well last week. I do believe that what happened at our nation's capital on January 6th was a disgrace and should be condemned, but I wholeheartedly believe with my statement last week that this commission should be focusing on the business of this county with resolutions that create, resolutions creating political divide and tense debate are unnecessary at this county level. I apologize if my comment last week regarding the resolutions felt as if I was chastising anyone. That was not my intention, but I do know I was rather passionate, so I apologize if it came across that way. I would also like the commission to know that I do not make my comments, I did not make them last week, nor do I make my comments as a Democrat or any representative of a political party or office. I make them as a person and as a voter in this county and a taxpayer in this county. Politics at the national level and the state level, I probably identify with, I absolutely identify more with one party than the other. Locally, that's not always the case. I disagree with my party, and I also agree with the opposite party. So please don't take my comments last week as a chastising or as a representative of a particular party, because they were not intended to be that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hodges. Anybody, Charles, I can't see any hands up. I don't
see any other hands, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, next item is communication. We have an item from the Grand Traverse County, a pandemic resolution. I'd like.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment regarding that.
Okay. go ahead.
So this is almost the exact resolution that we tried to adopt last week. And it was, or at the last full board, it was rejected. And we also have Ottawa County trying to open up. Ottawa County has sent a letter to the governor asking her to open up area businesses and stop this lockdown. We compare ourselves to Ottawa County frequently with other measures, and we esteem them and try to copy some of the things they do. They have sent a letter to the governor. Now we have Traverse City officially sending this out for distribution. I think we need to adopt a similar resolution in this county. Thank you.
Okay. I think I need a motion just to put this on file and.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to accept this resolution and put it on file. Is there any other discussion? Marcia?
Yeah, just let the record show that I oppose this resolution.
Okay, we'll vote on it. Nancy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes, in support of this resolution.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes, I support this resolution and would like to move forward with Muskegon adopting the same or similar. Thank you.
we're only taking the roll call vote.
Right.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Clerk Waters,
yes.
I just want to make it clear that we're not voting on this resolution. We're just
No.
voting to accept it and put it on file.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's all. I'm sorry.
We don't usually vote on that, do we? Don't we just put it on file?
You know, I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that's what we
So
normally do.
let the corporate counsel weigh in on what's required to have a roll call vote on any action of the board here like this.
There was a motion made. We have to conclude.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think in the normal context, it's generally acceptable to just note the correspondence received and accept it for filing. But on a motion, there needs to be conclusion.
Thank you, Mike. Going in future meetings, I will not. I'm sorry, it was an error on my part. But
You can withdraw it.
well,
So at this point,
we're halfway.
it's been made and seconded. The following have voted already. Commissioner Laring voted yes. Vice Chair Nash voted no. Commissioner Pago voted yes. I'll continue with the roll call.
Yes, clerk. Thank you.
Commissioner Wilkins,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear. Is Commissioner Sear unmuted?
Sorry about that. Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick.
Yes.
That is 6 yes, 3 no.
Okay.
Eh,
Thank
Could you just say what it is we just voted on?
Oh.
I thought we were just
We
putting
just
it on file.
Marcia, we just voted to put it on file. That's all.
Oh, all right. I get it. Sorry. No problem.
Okay, the next item is committee board reports. First item is community development and strategic planning, and I believe that's Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Commissioner Skolnick, for your time. So the Community Development Strategic Planning Committee met on January 21st, 2021, and it was recommended, and I move to accept, as noted, the CDSP 21/01-01. So I need a motion and support to accept.
Support. You made the motion.
Yep, support. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, Madam Clerk, I would like to have a roll call vote on this,
And
please.
who seconded that, Commissioner Brown?
Commissioner Hughes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago, Commissioner Pagel on the motion to accept CDSP 21/01-01. Commissioner Pagel,
Pass.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, thank you. The next committee report is transportation, and I believe that's Commissioner Brown once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Transportation Committee met on January 21st, 2021, and it was recommended and I move to accept TR 21/01-01 and TR 21/01-02. If there's any questions at this time, I think we have a motion and support. Thank you. If there's any questions, comments, or concern, Madam Clerk, I would ask if you could give us a roll call for this.
So
please,
because
at this
I'm not
time.
familiar with voices yet, and I'm not seeing and knowing who's making the second, I have Commissioner Brown as making the motion and who did second it.
Commissioner Hughes.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Pagel. On 1 and
Yes.
2, are we taking 1 and 2 together?
Yes,
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Commissioner Pagel, yes on 1 and on 2. Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes on both. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes on both.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Yes on both.
Thank you. Commissioner Sear. Commissioner Sear.
Yes. Yes on both. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes on both.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes on both.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes on both.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes on both.
Chairman Skolnick.
yes on all.
9 yes on 01 and 9 yes on 02.
Thank you very much. That completes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. The next item is the results of the meeting of the Ways and Means Committee, and Commissioner Sear, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Ways and Means Committee met on January 19th, 2021. It was recommended and I moved at WM 21/01-06-07-08-09.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion that's been supported.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes
On all.
on all. Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes on all.
Commissioner Sear.
Yes on all, please.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes on all.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes on 6, 7, and 8. No on 9.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes on all.
Commissioner Pagel.
Yes on all with the exception of 9 is a no.
And Chairman Skolnick.
Yes on all.
That's 8 yes, 1 no on 06, 9 yes on 07, 9 yes on 08, and 7 yes, 2 no on 09.
Thank you, Clerk Waters, and thank you, Commissioner Sear. Okay, next, we have the chairman's report and committee liaison reports. The first thing I'll do is I have some appointments to make. First, we'll do the Senior Activities Committee. Rachel Sereska, it's an appointment, term through 12/31/23. And Robert Seawick, it's an appointment, term through 12/31/21. And those, okay. Then next, I have the Solid Waste Planning Committee, terms through.
Number 3, Greg Scott.
I'm sorry?
The third one, Greg Scott. It has to be scrolled up. There's 3 there.
My agenda only had, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I must have an older, I'm looking at an agenda on another. I'm looking at an older agenda on my other screen. Okay, yeah. You're gonna have to scroll up because I have to see that agenda. Okay, so I'm only seeing 2 there.
Yeah, that's not right.
There are 3 on mine.
Commissioner Harvey Wright is looking at an old agenda.
Oh, didn't we already appoint those? Greg Scott?
Yeah, that's like last time.
Is that's why it was taken off? Okay. Yeah, because he's our chair. We need him.
Okay, the next one is, well, you got me confused here because I'm looking at an agenda. All right, next one is the Solid Waste Planning Committee, terms through 1/31/2022. Jennifer Hodges, a reappointment, and Wayne Kurth, a reappointment. And then a Land Bank Fast Track Authority, terms through 12/31/23. Scott Dreyer, also a reappointment. Then we have.
Move to approve all the appointments.
Support.
Okay, roll call. Clerk Waters, please.
On 11A, B, and C.
Correct.
Correct.
Right.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes, on all.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Laring,
I just can't stand a unanimous vote, so I'm going to vote no.
no on which one, Commissioner?
All of-
You're voting no on all of them?
Yes.
Okay. Vice Chair Nash,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Pagel,
No on A, yes on B, and pass on C.
no on A. There's 3 under A, so you're voting no on all, I mean, there's 2 under A. Is your vote no on both of the nominations for A? Senior activities?
Yes. Correct.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes on all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I have a comment, if I may?
Well, wait a minute. We're partway through the vote here.
Oh,
Yeah, Nancy, keep going. We'll finish the vote. And then Commissioner Laring, you can,
And Chairman Skolnick.
yes on all. Does that complete it?
That completes the roll call vote.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Waters. Mr. Laring?
And
I just wanted to thank you for bringing business back to the chairman's report. Thank you.
Okay. Was that a compliment?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Oh, excellent. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so now we have the administrator's report. Mark? please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a reminder, the upcoming work sessions. We have a 3:30, 3:30, and 3:30. So I just want to bring that to your attention that they do jump around a little bit. And then the upcoming presentations, 15 minutes roughly, is our HR department and Veterans Affairs. So the big difference is the work sessions will be before the board meeting and the presentations are during the board meeting, just because they're shorter.
Okay, does that?
That is my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Administrator Eisenbarth. Okay.
Let me bring something up to your attention. So when this was tabled, the resolution that was tabled, it says January 12th, that resolution is not attached to your agenda. There's another resolution. So I want to bring up the original resolution that should be discussed from January's full board meeting. And that's this one here, I believe is the correct one. So if you see the one in your packet, that it is different. This one here is the one that came from that full board meeting. Thank you.
I can't read it. Mark, can you make it a little larger?
Yes, there you go.
Can you read that, or do you want to make it a little bigger?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Before we get into this, I just want to use my prerogative as chair of the board. I've had numerous phone calls, messages, I've had emails, I've had Facebook comments, people asking when the county commission is going to say something about the activities on January 6th. I understand that, I understand the objections today about this, maybe this isn't our direct business, but I think as the senior elected officials, local elected officials in Muskegon County, when something like this happens, it seems like we should say something and say that we're, this is a serious breach of the way we do business in this country. And I understand that, but I also understand people saying that we shouldn't go here because it's apparently controversial. I would say 2 years ago, it might not have been controversial, but it is now. I sort of saw this resolution as something to kind of make our citizens feel just better about what we're doing and just kind of calm things down. But I do understand that some people are against it. If we don't do this, then we're saying we're not going to do any more resolutions like this. And maybe that's what we need to do with the kind of partisan divide we've got.
Mr. Chair, is this discussion?
I'll let you talk in a minute. I just want to tell you that I have a lot of compassion for the citizens. That's what we're here for. And if this makes people feel sort of calmer about the United States, then I'm kind of in favor of it. I mean, it's just like recognizing the fact that hundreds of thousands of people have died. And I know that, I know there's nothing we can do about it, but at least recognize it. It's like my wife died, and I appreciated the fact that so many thousands of people tried to help me through that. And that's all this is about. It isn't condemning one party or another. It's just saying that we stand against this. But so that being said, we need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to bring it out of closed session.
I'll make a motion to remove the resolution from the table.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to remove this from the table. Is there any discussion?
I'm going to withdraw my second on that.
I'll second that.
The motion is to remove this from the table. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I will second it instead.
All right, we have a motion. It's been supported. All right, discussion.
There hasn't been a motion made for it yet. It's just been removed from the table. So you've got to make a motion to adopt it.
Motion to adopt.
Okay, I'd like to just ask the corporate counsel.
Don't we discuss first?
Well, yeah, just a
There
minute.
has to be a second.
Commissioner Nash made a motion to remove it from the table. Do we have to vote on that?
Well, I think you could technically remove it if there's unanimous consent, but I would prefer that you take a vote on that motion.
Okay, so
All right.
Commissioner Nash made a motion to remove it from the table. Commissioner Hughes supported it, and we'll have a roll call vote now, please.
Motion to remove from the table, Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pagel,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Commissioner Sear,
No.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Okay. So now we need a motion.
Motion to approve this resolution.
Don't we have to
Support.
discuss this first?
We will.
Motion, second, and then discuss.
Okay,
So
Commissioner.
we need a second.
All right, Commissioner. you
I
second.
second that motion.
Thank you.
Nancy, do you have names on that?
I have Commissioner Hovey Wright made the motion and Vice Chair Nash seconded.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, can we clarify what exactly we're voting on?
We're voting to, ultimately, we're going to vote on whether or not to adopt this resolution. When we get to that point, we're not there yet. The motion has been made to adopt this resolution condemning the storming of the U.S. Capitol.
Mr. Chair, I have a comment if I may.
Yes, Mr. Larry.
So my comment is, can you scroll the resolution up? Is my name still on this? This revised resolution?
It is.
All right. So potentially you're going to leave yourself open to slander with this. I do not agree with this. I do not want my name associated with this at all, in particular, because you are not addressing any of the violence that's happened over the last year. The BLM ilk has destroyed this country from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the Canadian border to Dallas. And we haven't addressed any violence that's happened. There's been millions of dollars of damage. 5 miles of Minneapolis, St. Paul have been burnt to the ground and will never reopen. There's been hundreds of lives lost, thousands of people injured, and countless amount of insurance claims that have went out to businesses. Businesses will never reopen. You haven't addressed anything. Some of this violence happened right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and involved injuries, police reports, damage to property. You've addressed nothing locally. You're just going after a national, this is a partisan issue, and you know it. You are being addressed by a bunch of people that are trying to make a partisan issue, and you have brought partisan politics to this county commission. So I strongly object to this, and if my name continues to be on this resolution, I intend to seek legal counsel.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Laring. Okay, go ahead, Marcia. Are you muted?
Yeah, can we, obviously it has to pass by a majority of the commission. Can we just remove the names?
Why don't we just talk about this some more and we'll figure that out? Because every vote that we do that isn't unanimous has some people who didn't either voted against it. And we don't say, we voted for it except for.
Well, the records and the minutes do show who votes yes and no, however.
Right, exactly.
So.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
So, just a point of clarification, the resolution in the packet used the words on the third whereas the threat to our nation's constitutional republic. But the one we dealt with a couple weeks ago had the word core democratic principles. And I looked up, actually it was online. There was a comparison of those two those two terms. And actually, I prefer the constitutional republic verbiage. So I don't have a problem with changing that, but I'll go with either one.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Pego.
Okay, thank you. Finally, it's time for discussion, right?
That's what we're doing,
So,
right?
to address your comment of us being the highest elected officials in the county, I would like to clarify, I believe our highest elected official is actually the sheriff. And this should be an issue regarding maybe something he might want to take up. But as county commissioners, we need to stay in our lane in administering the county finances. And it'd be helpful maybe we do educate the public on what our jobs are, which has nothing to do with this kind of a resolution that has nothing to do with our county.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do have a comment, Bob, if I could.
Go ahead, Susan. I have a comment.
I'd just like to say that a county commissioner's job involves a lot of things, and anything that the county feels needs to be brought before this board is business. It's not just the finances of the county. We have a lot of other things that we do too. And if this makes the people feel better,
Our job is not to make the county feel better. I disagree. Statutorily, that is not correct.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment, please?
Yes, Mr. Brown, please.
Thank you, Bob. Like you, I've also had emails and phone calls regarding the concern on this. Is there something that we could say just to say that we don't condemn any violence of any sort from any organization, and make that statement? Would that suffice and make we're taking a stance, but we're for any organization, whoever it may be. I'll leave that.
Mr. Chair.
Just a minute.
Mr. Chair.
Who's next? Marcia?
Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about in this resolution rises above anything that happened this summer. This was an insurrection on our capital.
Has not been proven. Not true.
Pego.
Out of
Excuse
order.
me. It's my floor. And this is much worse than anything. I mean, I was almost in tears. It was hard to imagine that this could happen in our capital. And because of the fact that it rises above everything else, I think this is appropriate. I mean, if you want to do another resolution about violence of any kind, do it separately. But I think this deserves a special account.
Mr. Chair,
let's do a resolution about ripping unborn babies out of their mother's wombs. If you want to talk.
You're out of order. That has nothing to do with this.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion, if I may.
We have a motion on the floor.
Mr. Chair, can I have a comment, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to amend this resolution to have my name removed from this resolution, please. Can I get a second?
Second, mine as well.
Okay.
We have an amendment to this resolution on the floor. We have a motion and a second.
All right, there's a motion and a second.
Mr. Chair, we already have a motion on the floor.
Right, move ahead with that.
We're having discussion on a motion.
Now we have an amendment to this resolution. I have a motion on the floor.
That amendment has not been accepted.
We need to vote on the amendment.
That amendment has not been accepted.
Charles, he made a motion to amend.
You can't make a motion on top of a motion. He made a motion to amend that's not being accepted.
We need to vote on it before it's accepted.
I made the motion. I'm not accepting it.
Let's, Mike.
This isn't a friendly emotion. That isn't a friendly motion.
It's not a friendly emotion. Corporate counsel, please.
Okay. Mike, I hope you've been listening to this.
Yes, it's a little convoluted, but let me see if I can sort it out. The way I interpret, there was a motion to approve the resolution. That motion and support for that. And now there's been a second motion to, as I construe it, amend the motion to approve as amended with the removal of Commissioners Laring and Pago's name from the resolution.
Correct.
I agree with Commissioner Nash that if the chair construes that as a secondary motion, that is not a motion to amend the prior motion to approve, then that is not a motion that can be considered because a motion is already pending before the public body. However, as I understand the motion that was made, it would be a motion to amend the motion to approve the resolution, to approve it as drafted with the change that Commissioner Pago and Laring be removed from the bottom of the resolution.
Okay.
Correct.
So
That's okay.
he made a friendly amendment to remove his name and Commissioner Pago's name. If this motion fails, then both names will continue to appear on the resolution if it passes. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that is correct. But I also will say that typically when you have a resolution, at the bottom of those resolution, it is indicated how those members may have voted. So it reflects an accurate vote of the resolution itself.
So on this resolution, if Commissioner Laring votes no, then on the bottom by his name, it would say no.
Yeah, typically it would be reformatted so that it indicates how each of the members voted on the resolution.
Okay.
You've seen that from other resolutions that
Yes.
the county has received from other counties.
We have.
I would accept that
If I
amendment.
made the original motion, I think that's a good way to resolve this.
Yeah.
So it's a friendly motion. I
Commissioner
am okay.
Laring, are you okay with that? Are you?
Oh, I want my name taken off of it, period.
Okay, then we'll let's vote on the amendment. So if you vote yes, then Commissioner Laring's name and Commissioner Pago's name, or any,
No,
no?
just those two that you mentioned. They haven't given any notice for anybody else
Okay,
in the amendment to remove.
okay, then Clerk Waters, let's have a roll call. So a yes means the names are removed, a no means they stay on.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick.
Yes.
The motion passes 7-2.
Okay, so now we'll get back to the original resolution. We're voting now. We're not voting yet. We're still discussing it. And I'm going to make a comment, not as for my personal, how I may vote on this. I'm seeing this as for some reason, it has turned into a very partisan issue. I understand some of the arguments. I don't know that it's worth inflaming everybody by voting for it. And I personally am going to have my own personal resolution condemning the activities in Washington. And I have personally, I'm getting people who are sending me things like, your silence is deafening because nothing has been said about it. But I do understand the other things. There's been a lot of damage around the country, but Washington is different. What happened in Washington was terrible. And I see that I can't stand by as an elected official, people trusting me to do the best thing for everybody and just ignoring this. I mean, when people break into our Capitol, that's different than somebody burning something in a city. It's symbolic. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But anyway, anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I would concur with all the remarks that you just made. And, you know, I've also gotten responses from people that are on both sides of the aisle. This is not a partisan issue. This is an issue about our country. And we basically had an insurrection that tried to form a coup to take over our whole government. So this is something that people want us to speak out about. Silence is acceptance. And all we're doing is speaking out. And these words do matter. And I just put my support behind this resolution for our country and for the citizens of this country that do have a concern about this issue.
All right.
Mr. Chair. Oh, Marcia.
Yeah, I would reiterate what both Commissioner Skolnick and Commissioner Nash have stated. I agree that this, as I said, rises above anything else that's ever happened in our history. I mean, Pelosi was, they were going to assassinate her. The vice president was going to be lynched. I mean, it was the worst thing that we've ever seen in our country. And we can't not speak out against that, in my view, in my value system. I think at this point, we need to think of our country ahead of our party. I wish that this weren't a partisan issue, but apparently some people think it is, but it shouldn't be. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Sear.
Chair, I have, I guess I have similar feelings about this thing. You know, not just addressing this one issue. I don't believe that you know, because it's Washington D.C., there were a lot of other federal buildings around the nation that were burned to the ground, and people killed, law enforcement people assaulted, murders going on. I just have a difficult time with it. If we want to be bipartisan, why can't we change the resolution to include DC and the rest of the violence that we've had, the rioting and so forth over the year 2020? And my no vote on this resolution would not indicate that I approve of the January 6th DC violence, because I do not. But I do disapprove of this resolution because it is selective condemnation. You said, yeah, Mr. Chairman, you have compassion for the citizens. In this case, it would maybe only be compassion for half the citizen in my view. So that's where I stand on it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sear. It's time to vote on this, but I'm just going to say, as chair of the board, I'm going to bring back. I'm going to support this, and I'm going to bring back another resolution that will condemn all the other violence in the country. But I want to specifically target Washington on this, just so we can get it over with. I mean, this thing was almost a month ago. It's time to say something. So you're right. It all needs to be condemned. So, Commissioner Clerk, I'm demoting you, Nancy. I just made you a commissioner.
I had that for 4 years, Commissioner, and I chose not to be there.
Okay, roll call, please. So just so
Vice Chair Nash, I'm sorry.
If you vote yes, you're voting for the resolution. If you're voting no, you're voting against the resolution, and your vote will be recorded on the document, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Pagel.
No.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
No.
Commissioner Sear.
No.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
No.
Chairman Skolnick.
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Okay. The next item is new business. Does anyone have any new business? I hope not. Okay, no new business. Public comment. Anybody, let me see how many people are left. We're 56 people. Any public comment?
Can we get the agenda up?
You still got all of this?
I do not see any public comment.
I do have one public comment, Kristen Wade, when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Kristen Wade, Human Resources Director. As some of you know, I also serve on the board of directors for the YMCA. So I just wanted to make sure that commissioners, you were aware, and your constituents as appropriate, that the food distribution Fridays are ongoing at the YMCA down at their 3rd Street location. And they're currently serving over 12,000 meals every Friday. This past Friday, they just exceeded their 100,000th meal distributed. So it's a great program for the community, qualifying students that qualify for free or reduced lunch. So students that are under age 18. However, those eligibility requirements had been waived through June. So, you know, kids under 18, each food bundle has 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and a gallon of milk in it. So I just encourage everybody to be aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Great, Kristen.
Final board comments.
You have a hand from Tony Barnes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also like to parlay on what Kristen just had to say. The Farm to Families program through the USDA has been extended. That is going to include Muskegon County. The host is Eggleston Township. The participating townships, if you need to send your residents, are Blue Lake Township, Dalton Township, Cedar Creek, Eggleston, Moreland, Ravenna, Cazenovia, Sullivan, I think Fruitport. But I'm not positive on the Fruitport one. But it's 35 pounds of food. You don't have any residency or income requirements. Generally has 5 pounds of meat, 5 pounds of dairy, and a gallon of milk, and some fresh fruits and veggies. So that's going to be tomorrow. We do not have a specific time, simply because the new vendor is Van Sokema LLC. We've never worked with this freight company, and the roads are a little slippery out there. So typically we've been trying to get it done around, we start at 10, and we're usually done around 11:30. We don't know what's going on with this new logistics are going to be tough to work out for the first time. So look around on social media. We'll try to update as soon as we'll be ready to distribute tomorrow. But thank you.
Thank you, Tony. All right, final board comments.
I do have a comment, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, Mrs. Hughes.
I just like to say on behalf of the board, my deepest sympathies to Bob Skolnick and the loss of his wife, and also to Mark and Michelle Eisenbarth. In this last week, Michelle has lost her mother and her father. So my deepest sympathies to all of you.
Yes.
I would like, yeah, Bob, thank you. And no, Commissioner Hughes, thank you. I guess I couldn't say it any better. So, Bob, I know you've been going through a lot, and our condolences from our family to yours. So,
okay. This board meeting was worse than the funeral this morning.
Yeah, I imagine. Could I have one comment, Bob?
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Beth Dick for the details. She come up with a detailed report on the furlough cost savings to the county, and that looked like a lot of work, and I appreciate it, Beth.
Yeah, thank you, Beth.
Mr. Chair, I had one other comment. Is since this has been really fun on Zoom, when are we going to be able to get together so we can do this in person?
As soon as possible. That's, I mean, we don't have a date. As soon as it's approved to do, we'll do it.
Mr. Chair, I have a final comment too.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Laren.
Thank you. So maybe it's a comment and a question. My first comment is I am working with Stand Up Michigan to open up Muskegon area businesses to full capacity. My next comment is possibly a question for corporate counsel. He said the legislature had approved or extended the Open Meeting Act until March for this type of meeting. but I am unaware of that passing the Senate and going for the governor's signature. Are you telling me that that has happened already, or did you address that earlier, corporate counsel, please?
Yes, it has occurred.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to MCL 15.268 and 15.243 1G to discuss confidential written legal opinions with the county's attorneys and to discuss trial and/or settlement strategy with the county's attorneys in connection with pending civil litigation, Heat Heist versus the County of Muskegon, AL, case number 1:19-CB-940 pursuant to MCL 15.268E, because discussion in an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on the litigating or settlement position of the County of Muskegon.
Support.
Okay, Clerk Waters?
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes. Commissioner Hughes to go into closed session.
You're muted, Susie.
I see that now. I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
So we just stay put and you'll move us into a
Yes, and we have a list that will be going in, and those will start going in. Also, for those attorneys, we had 3 separate discussions. So Laura, Steve, and Jim will bring you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Just stay put.
Hello?
Hi, Laura. It's Mark. You are on the meeting.
Okay, good. We're not in closed session though. I'm just waiting, right?
Correct. You are on the open meeting right now. With me, we're waiting on the closed session.
I'm going to put you
All
into the
right.
closed session right now.
Oh, okay.
Kathy, you let me know when you're ready.
Kristen, are we recording again?
Kathy, you let me know when you're ready.
We're all set.
All right, now we'll set the motion for going back into open session.
Make a motion to return to open session.
Support.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Hughes and supported by Commissioner Hubby Wright to go back into open session. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
You're muted, Nancy.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Is Commissioner Wilkins?
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner
Commissioner
Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
She's muted. She has to unmute.
I don't see her on, is she?
She's on.
Oh, she is on. Yep, I
think
see.
she's driving.
Well, we still have a quorum, Madam
so
Clerk.
Chairman, okay, Vice Chairman Nash,
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no vote. Not present.
Okay. Let's take let's do the FOIA issue first.
So, Mr. Chair, can let me jump in. We had 3 items for which you went into closed session. 2 of them were to discuss written confidential attorney-client privileged issues. One of them had to do with a FOIA appeal, and I think it would be appropriate for the board to consider a motion to deny the appeal for the reasons stated in the draft response letter that you have.
I would make a motion to
support.
You do that.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right. There's a motion by Commissioner Hughes, second by Commissioner Pago to accept that motion that was just read off by the attorney, our corporate counsel.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yeah. Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
7 yes, 1, 7 yes, 1 no.
Madam Clerk, did you get my, Madam Clerk?
That's correct.
Did you
And I
get my
did make a
vote?
mistake. Yes,
She got,
and I did make a mistake that on this other one to go back into session because Commissioner Skolnick did leave the meeting.
right,
Correct.
So it was
So
7-1.
correct.
Madam Chair,
All right.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Wilkins.
did you get my yes vote?
She got it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next item, corporate counsel, please.
All right, Mr. Chair, the second item that was addressed in a attorney-client privilege communication, I think it would be appropriate at this time to accept the recommendation of the county's attorneys as discussed in closed session.
I will make that motion.
That
Support.
motion by Commissioner Wilkins, seconded by Commissioner Hughes. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Pagel,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Commissioner Sear,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Five yes and three no.
And that motion passes. Corporate Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The last item that the board went into closed session was concerning the case of Heathis versus County of Muskegon et al., case number 1:19-CV-940. And at this time, no action is required by the board.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Nash, before we
Yes.
go, I would like to request that if it's not acceptable to send to the county clerk the information that we have before we go into closed session, would you please see that she gets it as we go into closed session so that she can be fully informed on what's happening and her motions can be correct?
Yes,
And
agreed.
Thank you. I don't think we
know if
need a motion
I don't
for
think we
that,
need a
but
motion, but
I don't either, but I just want to make
administration
sure
can make sure.
that we
Yeah.
do that. So
No,
that
she needs to be
know.
prepared.
And Mark, you can make sure that she gets the information she needs,
Yep.
correct?
Most definitely. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anything else come before this? No? All right. I'll accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Board.
All right. We'll do that by voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned. See you all later.
Thank you very much, everybody.